This isn't your Sunday school story hour. This is Buried Truth, where we drag the ancient mess into the light, spill the tea, and find the hope hiding underneath it all. I'm Tristana, and today we're closing Jacob's chapter. This story has everything: a family feud, baby wars, a midnight escape, and a reunion you never saw coming. So come with me, my messy ones. This one is gonna be a lot. Last week, we left off with Jacob and the marriage scheme. Oh, that's a nice way of saying it. So now we're during a time where now it went from swapping wives to swapping kids. So Jacob's tents are full of crying babies and crying sisters. Leah starts having babies first, naming each one like a victory lap. Yes, she did. Look it up. She sure did. She was like, this one, look at me, Rachel. You can't have no babies. Look at this. So then Rachel, who can't get pregnant, starts giving her servant to Jacob so she can have a child through her. And then Leah turns around and is like, oh, I can do one better. I'll give him my servant and I'll give him my body. Girl, try me. And then Rachel, she finally has Joseph, her pride and joy. This is not just a love triangle anymore. It's a reality show with 12 kids, 4 mothers, and endless rivalry. You know, you've seen this on Jerry Springer. I mean, they all know who the daddy is. It's just like, oh, who's the mama? Who's the mama? Is it the servant? Is it the wife? Anyway, so years go by. Jacob's flocks multiply. His wealth grows. Laban, the uncle who hustled. Wait a minute. Jacob's does not multiply. He does not have. Hold on, you guys. My notes are messy. I do my notes, y'all, before, and I write them down and I read through them real quick, and then I start recording. I'm like, that's not factual. I don't want to mess up people's understanding of the Bible because he didn't have no money. Okay. He was working under Laban, who had the money, and Laban started noticing that he was being blessed with Jacob. So then, he starts to feel cheated. Laban, okay, Laban, you feel cheated. You're the one giving up your 2 daughters for free labor for 14 years. Anyway, so it starts intensifying, and Jacob realized it's time to go. And he had started separating his sheep from who was Laban's and who was his. And so they bounce. They're like, okay, there's a lot of tension. We got to go in the middle of the night. Okay. In the middle of the night, they take off. Okay. But before they leave, Rachel, his favorite, sneaks into her daddy's tent and takes the idols. Hold on to that piece of information. So they take off, and Laban doesn't find out till 3 days later. Now that has to be a big ranch to be like, you know what? I haven't seen my daughters and her kids in a while, their kids, and then realizing that they're gone. So then he chases them down. He's like, not today. You're not taking my daughters, my grandchildren without giving a kiss. And then he rolls up and was like, you stole from me. You stole from me. And Jacob's like, we didn't steal anything. Whoever stole your idols, I will kill them myself. Ooh. He didn't know what he was talking about, y'all. He didn't realize that Rachel had taken the idols from the dad's house. And so when the dad starts going and searching for these idols, she uses the, it's my time of the month, Dad, I can't get down. So he doesn't search her camels or donkeys or were they sheep. Anyway, I'll have to look at my notes, y'all, because I want to be truthful. I don't want to trick you guys into it. I do know, but I do have a squirrel brain. So anyway, they come to an agreement. Wait a minute. I think God tells him not to say anything. Y'all, I was originally going to delete that part where I go into my old squirrely brain and try to remember the story correctly. But I figured, hey, you know what? I'm showing them the real me, and we make mistakes, but we can always fix that, right? And even when we can't, Jesus can. So let me go back to the story and kind of clarify a couple things. Rachel was on a camel. I had to verify. And the reason that Jacob had sheep to take with him was he had made an agreement with Laban to say, hey, I'll get all the speckled sheep. And Laban's like, cool, all right, sounds like a good deal. And then he starts getting, Jacob's starts getting blessed with all of these speckled sheep. There's a whole thing that goes into it. Read your Bibles. Don't just take it from me. And then, yes, the part where God does speak to Laban in a dream saying, do not say anything good or bad to Jacob. Because he was going in hot. He's ready to fight. And God speaks to him. And don't you think that's so fascinating? That even though Jacob did some messed up stuff, that God was going to redeem his story no matter who Jacob was. And not just Jacob, everybody in the line of Jacob, in us too, right? Because in that line, that's where Jesus came in. Because of what Jesus done, we're saved. So I just left that part in to show you, yes, I can get confused, but it's still good side of me for you to see. So, okay, back to the story. So they agree to basically like call it good, Laban and Jacob, and they keep going. And guess who he finds out is gonna come and see him? Esau, the brother, yes, the brother that he stole the blessing and the inheritance from. He was coming to meet Jacob. And he wasn't coming alone. No. He was not coming alone. He was bringing 400 men. 400. Okay. Now, sometimes we can get lost in that, oh, that happened so long ago, but picture it. You're in the wilderness, you're walking with your whole entire family, and the person that you stole money from is coming back with 400 people. And you don't know if it's good or bad. You have no idea. And so Jacob gets nervous and he's like, okay. Let's he's sorting out his kitchen. I'm laughing because I'm like, to Jacob, when I see you in heaven, I have questions. Okay. Cause you did Leah dirty. And she was good to you. Okay. So he lines up his kids, like basically his least favorite in the front. Like, so Leah and her servant, and then he keeps Rachel way in the back because if something's about to go down, Rachel's protected. And Leah's like, wait, why is Rachel back there? This man, I've given him how many kids and he can't even protect me? Oh man. But anyway, I digress. So they meet up. Esau was happy to see his brother. He basically was like, there's no ill will. God has blessed me. And they pretty much in their feud or their disagreement. And so it ends up working out for the two of them. Now, I'm petty. It couldn't be me. Without God changing my heart and being like, girl, chill. I mean, I don't think that's how Jesus talks to me, like, girl, chill, because he's like the God of everything. But I'm just saying, it takes me a hot minute to forgive. Now, this is the messy middle, where grace meets chaos and I stop pretending I have it all together. Sometimes it's a story, sometimes it's a confession, sometimes it's just me trying to make sense of the mess. Okay, y'all. I was thinking about this story this week and I'm like, that is some favoritism. There was favoritism between Jacob's parents And then it trickled down to his wives, and then they, played this game of who can have a better baby. And it's just a mess. It is just a mess. And ain't that what we do in our lives? Ain't that what we do? I know I have. How many? And it's humbling, because of which mess do I want to tell you about? Do you want the past one, or do you want one that's current? And let me talk about what a mess I am. I've been through it, y'all. I've been through it. And I did meet with Rachel, and I have my list. When I see my therapist, I make notes, so I know what to hit. And it took me a long time to get to where I am today. I went through a lot of therapy, EMDR. Thank you, Rachel. She's an amazing therapist. So I don't go as much as I used to, because therapy's hard, y'all. It's not like, woohoo, yeah, let's talk about my trauma. It's trauma day. No, it's more like, ooh, open up my wound and let's clean it out. And then sometimes I go home and just sleep, because it was rough. So I'm on the other side of that. I still have rough times. I had I told you guys, a rough week last week, and it kind of carried over because, when you're always in fight or flight and you finally get to a place of where everything's okay, you don't know how to handle it. You don't know, okay, when's the other shoe going to drop? And we kind of sometimes find things to protect ourselves. And we're not protecting ourselves. No, we're not protecting ourselves. And it got me thinking, where is this coming from? Where is all this anxiety coming from? And it comes from a place of not knowing who I was and who I am. Because let me tell you, my daddy crazy. My daddy is crazy. And when I tell people stories, they're like, that didn't happen. Yes, it did. Ask my siblings. And we laugh about it. We think it's funny. We think it's hilarious. And then we see people looking at us. We're like, oh, whoops. Did we say too much? And so I'll tell y'all this story. I'm laughing because it's crazy. Because this happened this week, because I started talking about something and my youngest son looked at me like, what? Your dad took you where? So what do we considered a free spirit? I don't know what it is, y'all, but I'm just going to say it. So I was little, and this is my biological father, who was in my life until I was about 10, and then he went to go find himself in Malaysia. Anyway, because he's Muslim now, or he became Muslim when I was a baby. Anyway, doesn't matter. So a memory was triggered recently, and I was talking to my husband and my youngest about, oh yeah, we're talking about a spa or something. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been to a nudist spa, a nudist colony where they had, those natural springs. And they looked at me like, what? And I was like, yeah, my dad took me and my sister. We had to be like 8, 9. And y'all, you know how you're taught, don't take anything from strangers, right? Don't take anything from strangers. And I'm crazy with my boys. Like, they're not allowed to have sleepovers, like, because of just my own stuff. So I'm very like particular with how I speak to my children. We don't keep secrets. We keep surprises, things like that. So the reason my son probably looked at me crazy, because he's getting older and he wants to know these like stories. And I was telling him something, and I was like, yeah. So anyway, we're at this hot springs, and I'm sitting in the hot springs, and there's this old naked man offering me a soda, a Diet Coke. First of all, Diet Coke's nasty. Let's start there. And he's like, here you go, little girl. And my dad's like, take it. And you know what, you guys? All I could see was balls. Old balls just hanging. And I'm like, did he wash his hands? And I laugh about it. I know that might be TMI, but I just thought, oh, doesn't everybody's parent take them to a nudist colony where they see naked old men? No, they don't. No, they don't. They do not do that. So you don't have to carry what your parents did and do the same thing with your kids. Okay, I'm telling you that right now. But you should have seen the look on my kid's face. He's like, wait, what? Your dad took you where? I'm like, oh, just be lucky, boo, that your mama never took you to a nudist colony. Okay? Okay. And that is my messy middle. Now, why did I tell you or take you on this roller coaster ride of Jacob's story? Because Jacob, he was the father of Judah. And through Judah, down generation upon generation, there would come Jesus, who would redeem all of the mess that this world has made. And that is why I tell these stories. It's easy to get lost in the recording and posting and this and not get back to the core point. And the point is, the Bible is there to tell us, to show us who God is, who Jesus is, what he did for us, and that we don't have to have it together because the very people in there did not have it together. And I sure don't. I tell you my stories. You guys know I don't have it together. And there are many a nights that I question, why would God choose me with this messy mouth? And, I'm a smart ass and, all these things are about me, but that make me me. And so if that's you, please just reach out to me, buriedtruthpod@gmail.com, or even like or comment on my many social media posts. And I would love to hear your thoughts and perspectives. Okay? Okay. Stay curious. Stay rooted in truth. And next week, y'all, is going to be a doozy because Judah. Y'all ain't ready. See you next week.